The US election has been won and lost. Americans gave Donald Trump a huge mandate, and world leaders have been congratulating him, from the UK Prime Minister to the French President to the Indian Prime Minister, including Tinubu. While congratulating Donald Trump on his victory, Tinubu said, quote, "Together we can foster economic cooperation, promote peace, and address global challenges that affect our citizens," unquote. While it is understandable that politics is a game of interest, you support people for what you can gain. If your thoughts align, what you think they can do in office that you will benefit from, Tinubu didn't actually support Donald Trump like many world leaders, most especially in Europe. They actively campaigned for Kamala Harris. Tinubu's support for Kamala Harris is understandable because the Biden administration, which she's serving as the vice president, made sure that Tinubu's FBI files were never released during the presidential election campaigns in Nigeria. The release of the FBI files would have damaged his reputation. That's what he actually told the court in Chicago. So it's quite understandable why he's backing the Democratic Party, because they are in control. They saved him from humiliation. And to make it seem as if they weren't preventing the release of these FBI files, they released a small part of what was actually demanded through the court order. And the ones they released were heavily redacted to the extent that you can't really make out the person involved, the person that they are making reference in these files. So it's practically useless. So you can see why he is supporting the party that made it all possible for him. And as recent as September, when Donald Trump debated Kamala Harris, Tinubu hailed Kamala Harris for defeating Donald Trump after the debate. And he also went ahead to compare Peter Obi, the main opposition leader in Nigeria, as the Donald Trump of Nigeria. Yes, that was the official statement released by the Nigerian government at the time. Part of the statement reads, quote, "Peter Obi is the Nigerian version of Donald Trump. Like Obi, Trump will use the most negative epithets imaginable to describe a country he wants to lead again, just to make a point and rile up his base." Kamala Harris prosecuted Trump very well in their first face-to-face debate. She convincingly won and left no one in doubt about her capacity. Vice President Harris knew Trump's weaknesses and set traps for him, which he repeatedly fell into. Both candidates were fact-checked, and while Harris made just one innocent claim, Trump made 33 false claims in the same 90-minute debate, unquote. Now you can see why many Nigerians openly supported Donald Trump during the campaigns, because many of them believe that if he were to be in power now, or the Republican Party is in control of the federal government, they wouldn't have stopped the release of Tinubu's FBI files. So they kind of see it as taking out a revenge on the Democrats. Yes, that's why many of them didn't support Kamala Harris. That's not all. Many Nigerians are still angry till this day at Obama and his administration because of his role in 2015 when he actively campaigned for the opposition candidate Muhammadu Buhari against the incumbent at the time, Goodluck Jonathan. And considering how woeful Buhari's performance in office, plunging Nigeria into 2 different recessions, they blame all that on Obama. Because if he didn't back Muhammadu Buhari at the time, he wouldn't have won the election. They used all sorts of means. As a matter of fact, some Democratic Party strategists were in Nigeria at the time, working as campaign directors for the APC. And many Nigerians believe, including the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, that with Trump's return to power, he wouldn't condone blatant election rigging in Nigeria. He wouldn't stand by and not speak against it. Because the mere fact that Biden administration never spoke or opposed the blatant rigging, despite the fact that the United States sent monitors to the election, they released damning verdicts against the election, they still didn't do anything. They were among the first people to congratulate Tinubu when he was declared winner. In releasing a congratulatory statement to Trump, Atiku Abubakar said, quote, "This triumph, without a doubt, will stand as an enduring testament to the resilience and vitality of the democratic process. A timeless reminder that democracy, with all its trials and tribulations, remain a force for good in the world. The narrative of President Trump's political journey, marked by his struggles and triumphs, shall serve as an inspiring parable of courage in the face of adversity, a lesson in the art of rising after every fall and ultimately emerging victorious. As the world rejoices in the euphoria of his remarkable comeback, it is to be hoped that President Trump will continue his resolute advocacy for credible elections worldwide and remain steadfast in dismantling anti-democratic forces wherever they may lurk. The lesson for us in Nigeria is the integrity of the process that ensures a credible outcome. It is the expectation of every Nigerian that the Trump administration will stand resolute in ensuring free and fair elections in Nigeria and other places in the world. I also extend my warm congratulations to the people of the United States, whose unwavering faith in the power of democracy and the sanctity of the ballot has once again shown the world the true might of the people's vote, unquote. Atiku Abubakar even said all Nigerians, not just few or many of them. What's not to love about the US presidential election? It's such a shame that Nigeria cannot conduct a free and fair election. The results started trickling in just a few hours after polls closed. Even before that, numbers from the early voters have already been known by many, so the transparency is out of this world. Many legacy media are connected to the database, showing the results live as they come in. It can't be more transparent than this. Why can't this be obtainable in Nigeria? As a matter of fact, the Buhari administration spent more than 300 billion naira to conduct this kind of election in Nigeria. But at the end of the day, they threw away everything. They shut off the IREF that was supposed to show the results live. After votes are cast at the polling unit, after the results are counted and entered in the results sheet, polling officers are expected to upload the results to the IREF so that anyone can view the results live. Not punching the figures like they do in the United States and other countries, just a copy of the results sheet is snapped and uploaded to the IREF. Anyone can view it. At any level of collation, they can refer to the results to say, this is the results. Not anyone can write anything and submit and say that's the real results. But at the end of the day, they threw everything away and stole the results, stole the election. And it's a shame that the courts authorized the heist. They didn't care if Nigerian laws were broken, if INEC officials followed the guidelines. They just authorized everything. In fact, during the litigation, some of the judges were openly mocking the litigants. The most painful part of the electoral heist of last year is the fact that after they successfully stole the elections, they found themselves in power. It is now time to govern. They can't even govern. All they brought are sufferings and hardship to the Nigerian people. So it is hoped that Trump will send a strong message before Nigeria's presidential election of 2027 that the US government will not tolerate blatant election rigging, that the people's votes must count. Not that it might matter much, but at least it might make them to tread with caution. They might understand that there might be consequences if they rig the election blatantly like they did last year. Anyway, the ultimate deterrence to election riggers must come from Nigerians themselves. No one can impact and change the system more than Nigerians. No foreigner can do it better than Nigerians themselves. So everyone must start today and take it as if 2027 is already here, so that they can take back their country from people who are rigging election, who are only interested in their selfish interest and not the national interest. Thanks for watching.